The Galactic Empire controlled thousands of star systems. Its ships were fast and beautiful. Its weapons were strong and exact. For many centuries, no one could challenge it. The Coreward Fortress sector was the safest place in the Empire. Huge stations guarded the shipyards of Vexar Prime. Sensors watched every corner of space. Nothing could enter without permission. One normal day, everything changed. Alarms screamed on every ship and station. Red lights flashed. Officers jumped from their chairs. Computers showed something impossible. A massive ship had appeared in the center of the restricted zone. No warning, no flash from hyperspace, no trail of engines. The ship simply existed where empty space had been a moment before. At first, the Imperial analysts thought it was a mistake. Sensors sometimes made errors. They checked again and again. The images stayed the same. Telescopes zoomed in. The ship looked strange. Sharp corners, thick dark armor, many weapon barrels pointed in all directions. No smooth lines, no gold decorations like Imperial ships had, just hard metal built for war. On the side, in plain letters, humans used. It reads, "Indomitable." Everyone in the Empire knew about humans. They came from one small blue planet in a quiet corner of the galaxy. They had only traveled between stars for about 200 years. Very young race. The Empire saw them as weak and primitive. Long ago, the Empire made a treaty with Earth. Humans promised to stay inside their home system. The Empire promised to leave them alone. Everyone believed humans were too busy fighting among themselves to become dangerous. But this ship broke every rule. He, the Grand Admiral of the sector, sent a message. His voice sounded calm and powerful over every speaker. Unknown vessel, you are in restricted Imperial space. Identify yourself now and prepare to be boarded. If you do not obey, we will destroy you. No answer came. The human ship stayed silent. It did not move at first. Then it turned slowly. It showed its whole side to the big fortress station. Every gunport on that side pointed straight at the command center. Inside the fortress, officers looked at each other. Some faces turned pale. A feeling moved through the room, a feeling no one had felt for hundreds of years. Fear. The Admiral gave orders. Send containment. Group Alpha, 3 battle cruisers, 12 destroyers, full fighter wings. Capture that ship. If it fights back, destroy it. The Imperial ships formed a tight group. My blue shields appeared around each one. Energy lances started to hum. These were the best ships in the sector. Their weapons could cut through rock and metal like paper. No one had beaten them in open battle for a very long time. They moved forward carefully. At 50,000 km, the lead battle cruiser fired one warning lance. A bright white beam passed very close to the human ship. Message was clear. Still no answer from the Indomitable. At 30,000 km, the whole group opened fire. Dozens of energy lances shot forward. Bright beams filled the darkness of space. That was when the human ship moved. It did not glide like Imperial ships. It jumped hard, fast. Engines roared. The ship accelerated so quickly that any normal species inside would have died instantly from the force. Wow, over 200 times normal gravity pulled on the crew. But they humans did not die. Inside the Indomitable, men and women sat in strong chairs. Special suits pressed tight against their skin. Machines pumped drugs into their blood. Their bones had Metal supports, their blood vessels were stronger than normal. They had trained for years to survive this kind of speed. The ship twisted left, then right, then spun. Most Imperial beams missed. A few hit the armor. Explosions flashed across the surface, and then nothing. The thick plates ate the energy. No holes, no serious damage. Then the humans answered. They did not use clean energy beams. They used metal slugs, very long, very heavy, magnetic rails inside the ship pushed them to 40% of light speed. The first slug hit an Imperial destroyer. The blue shield tried to stop it. The shield broke like glass. The slug went straight through the ship, through the engines, through the other side. A second later, the destroyer exploded into a bright fireball. Another slug, another ship gone. The Imperial ships tried to turn and run too slow. The human ship kept moving at crazy speed. It danced between them. Every few seconds, another rail gun fired. Another Imperial ship died in fire. In less than 2 minutes, the entire group was gone. Only pieces of metal and gas clouds floated in space. One human ship against many Imperial ships. Total victory for the humans. In the fortress command room, silence fell. Officers stared at empty screens. Someone said a word quietly. Monsters. The Grand Admiral looked at the main display. The Indomitable was already turning away. It started to accelerate out of the system, not in panic, just calm, as if the fight had meant nothing. He knew what would happen next. Urgent messages would fly to the throne world. Fleets would be called back from far borders. The Emperor would hear that news, and in the hearts of every officer in that room the same thought grew. We made a terrible mistake about humans. News of the battle reached the throne world in hours. The Imperial Palace sat on a planet of crystal towers and golden skies. Inside the great hall, the Emperor listened to his advisors. His face showed no emotion, but his long fingers tapped the arm of his throne. That small movement scared everyone more than shouting would have. The Grand Admiral appeared as a hologram. He told the story simply. One unknown ship, sudden appearance, no hyperspace trace, refusal to answer, a then total destruction of a full containment group. No damage to the human ship. The Emperor asked one question: how many ships did we lose? 16 capital ships, all fighters. Over 8,000 crew dead or missing. Quiet filled the hall. An old advisor from an ancient species spoke next. His voice was dry like old paper. We have always thought humans were children playing with fire. We gave them limits. We watched their system. We believed they could never leave. Another advisor added, their technology is strange, not warp drives, not our kind of shields. Something older, something brutal. The Emperor stood. I want every record we have on humans, every scout report, every treaty discussion. Bring them to me now. For days, experts studied old files. They found something worrying. Many years ago, human scientists had asked questions about reactionless drives. The Empire had laughed. Such drives were unstable, dangerous, primitive. No advanced species used them anymore, but humans had kept asking. Then they stopped asking. The Empire thought humans had given up. They had not given up. They had built one. Scout drones sent new pictures of the Indomitable. Inside the ship, human crew moved even during high acceleration. They drank special liquids. They wore suits full of tubes, medical reports Stolen from hack signals showed broken. Bones healing in minutes, blood cleaned. Of waste products, bodies changed by surgery and training to survive forces that would kill any other species. Empire began to understand humans were not weak because they were young, they were strong because their world was hard. And their planet had ice ages, deserts, oceans full of teeth, storms that could destroy cities. Humans had fought animals, weathered disease, and each other for millions of years. They grew tough, they learned to endure pain, they turned weakness into weapons. The Emperor gave new orders. Recall the Third Grand Fleet. 400 ships surround and destroy that human vessel. No prisoners, no mercy. Across the galaxy, Imperial fleets change course. Battleships turned, supply ships hurried, the largest force in known history began to gather. Meanwhile, the Indomitable did not hide, it moved deeper into Imperial space, slow enough to be followed, fast enough to escape if needed. It seemed to wait. Small scout ships watched from far away. They sent pictures of human activity, crew exercised in high-gravity rooms, engineers checked huge rail guns, pilots practiced in small fighters that looked like angry insects. One scout drone got close enough to catch a radio message between human crew members. A woman laughed. They really thought we would stay locked in our yard forever. A man answered, arrogance makes blind. The drone was destroyed a moment later, but the word stayed in the reports. On the throne world, fear started to spread. Not loud fear, quiet fear. Officers spoke in low voices. What if there are more ships like that one? What if they have been building in secret for decades? What if we never really controlled them? The Emperor sat alone. In his private chamber, he looked at a star map, a small yellow dot marked Earth system. For centuries, the Empire had seen that dot as harmless. Now it looked different. Felt like a sleeping animal that had opened one eye. He whispered to himself, we should have killed them when they were still on one planet, but no one had listened then. Now it was too late for regrets. The Third Grand Fleet arrived at the edge of the Vixara sector. 400 ships formed a giant wall, battleships in front, carriers behind, destroyers everywhere. Shields linked into one huge blue dome. Clear's throat in the center of that wall. The Indomitable waited, alone. The Imperial commander of the Third Grand Fleet was High Lord Cale Vaughn. He had never lost a battle. His ships were perfect. His crews were loyal. He believed the human ship was a lucky fluke, one strange weapon, one moment of surprise, nothing more. He sent the final demand. Human vessel Indomitable, you have killed Imperial citizens, and surrender now or face complete destruction. The human ship answered. This time, a calm male voice spoke. Perfect Imperial language. We came to show you something. Watch carefully. No more words. The Indomitable started to move, not away, straight toward the center of the Imperial wall. Acceleration climbed fast, relativistic speed. Stars behind it stretched into lines because of the speed. High Lord Vaughn smiled. All ships focus fire. Rip it apart. Thousands of energy lances fired. A wall of white light rushed to meet the human ship. Then the Indomitable changed. Parts of its hull opened. Dozens of small craft came out. Fighters, drop ships, but also something bigger. Long tubes the size of small warships detached and accelerated forward. They looked like missiles, but No engines glowed, no exhaust, just falling forward at terrible speed. Imperial point defense guns opened fire. Lasers, missiles, plasma bursts, they tried to stop the incoming objects. Most shots missed, the first object hit an Imperial battleship. It was a solid rod, made of heavy metals traveling at 70%. Light speed, no explosion on contact. Just pure kinetic force. The rod punched through shields, through armor, through decks, through the other side. Battleship broke in half. Secondary explosions followed as reactors failed. Another rod hit, another ship gone. High Lord Vaughn shouted, "They are using kinetic weapons, obsolete point defense." Should he stopped, the rods kept coming. Hundreds of them, shields flickered and died under hits equal to huge bombs, but no radiation, no warheads to intercept. Just fast heavy metal, the Imperial wall started to break, then snorts. The Indomitable arrived. It had shed its outer layers, now it showed its true shape. A massive carrier mixed with a battleship. Long coil guns ran along its length, bigger than anything the Empire had. Those guns fired. Each shot sent a cloud of small guided bombs. The bombs flew like insects. They found weak points, they attached, then they exploded with tiny bits of antimatter. Clean, precise, devastating. Imperial ships died one after another. Some tried to run. The human fighters chased them, small rail guns on the fighters tore engines apart. High Lord Vaughn watched his fleet die. His own flagship shook from near misses. Alarms screamed, crew ran in panic. He gave one last order. All remaining ships ram the human vessel. If we cannot win, we will take it with us. A few ships turned toward the Indomitable, desperate suicide runs. The human ship did not slow. It met them head-on. Its main gun spoke again. The ramming ships exploded before they could touch. In under 10 minutes, the Third Grand Fleet was gone. Only pieces remained, spinning slowly, burning, dead. The Indomitable slowed. It turned. It faced the distant Imperial scouts that had watched everything. New message came, the same calm voice. This was one ship, one captain, one goal. You thought we were nothing. You put chains on us. You laughed at our youth. We do not want your empire. We do not want your throne, but if you threaten our people again, we will come. And next time, we will not send just one. The message ended. The Indomitable accelerated away. Then it simply vanished. No flash, no ripple. Gone. Across the galaxy, Imperial citizens heard the news. On trade stations, on colony worlds, in schools, parents told children in quiet voices about the day. One human ship destroyed the strongest fleet ever built. Children asked, "Are humans coming here?" Parents answered, "We hope not." For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire remembered what fear felt like after the destruction of the Third Grand Fleet. The Empire tried to hide the truth. Official reports said technical failure during training, but too many people had seen the battle. Scout drones, merchant ships, refugees from destroyed stations. Stories spread fast. On Earth, leaders watched secret reports. They did not celebrate. They knew what came next. The Empire would not forgive. It would try harder. In the Imperial Palace, the Emperor called his council. When no holograms this time, every advisor came in person. The room felt cold. We underestimated them. The Emperor said, "We will not make that mistake again." New orders went out. Every shipyard worked day and night, new weapons designed, old designs improved. Scientists studied captured pieces of human technology. They found human slugs. They found parts of drives. Nothing worked when they tried to copy it. Human engineering was too strange, too simple, too effective. At the same time, spies tried to enter human space. Most never returned. The few that did brought bad news. Earth had not one ship like Indomitable. It had many hidden in asteroid belts under oceans behind moons, some bigger, some smaller, some carried weapons no one understood. One spy saw a shipyard inside a hollow moon. Hundreds of rail guns being built, lines of fighters ready to launch. Humans worked without fear. They sang songs while they welded armor. The Empire decided on total war. No more single fleets. The entire border would be reinforced. Every system near human space got new stations, new minefields, new sensor nets, but humans did not attack again. Clear's throat, not yet. Instead, small groups of human ships appeared near Imperial colonies. They did not fire, they just watched. Sometimes they broadcast messages. One message said, "We see you building war machines, stop or we will stop you." Another said, "Your people live on many worlds, our people live on few. Think about what that means if war comes." Empire answered with threats. "We have trillions, you have billions. We will crush you." Humans answered. Numbers did not help your third fleet. Silence followed. Inside human space, factories ran 24 hours. New ships grew. Crews trained in simulators that copied Imperial weapons. Scientists improved drives, made rail guns longer, made slugs denser. Children learned history. Not just human history, galactic history. They learned why the Empire feared them. Now on Earth, a young pilot asked her teacher, "Will we win if they come?" The teacher answered, "We do not want to win their empire. We want them to leave us alone. If they do not, we will make sure they never forget the price." Months passed. The Empire waited. Humans waited. Then one day, a small human ship appeared near an Imperial border station. It carried no weapons, only a single passenger, a human ambassador. She met Imperial diplomats on a neutral station. She spoke quietly. "We do not want war, but we will fight if you force us. Lift the old treaty. Let us travel, let us trade. Let our people live free, or continue the old way and see what happens next." Diplomats laughed at first. Then they remembered burning ships. They remembered one voice saying, "Next time, we will not send just one." They sent the message to the throne world. The Emperor read it. He sat silent for a long time. Finally he spoke. "Tell them we will discuss terms." It was not surrender, not yet, but it was the first time the Empire had ever backed down. Years later, the galaxy was different. The old treaty was gone. Humans traveled freely. Their ships appeared in trade ports. Their merchants sold goods. Their scientists shared ideas, but everyone watched them carefully. No one forgot the Indomitable. On quiet nights in bars, on distant worlds, aliens told stories. Oh, they spoke of the day a single ugly ship appeared from nowhere. They spoke of rail guns that ignored shields, of acceleration that broke bodies, of humans who fought under forces that should have killed them. Children listened with wide eyes. Are humans dangerous? They asked. The adults answered, only if you make them angry. On Earth, life continued. People worked, laughed, loved, built families, but every adult knew the truth. Peace was not free, it was paid for with readiness. In hidden bases, ships waited, new indomitables, larger ones, stranger ones, crews trained every day. They hoped they would never need to fight again, but they were ready if the day came. One old captain who had served on the original Indomitable sat on a porch and looked at the stars. His hair was white now, his hands shook a little. A young officer asked him, "Sir, do you think the Empire will ever try again?" The captain smiled slowly. "They might. Arrogance dies hard, but they remember now. They remember one ship. They remember what happened when they underestimated us, and that memory will keep the peace longer than any treaty." He looked up at the sky, somewhere out there among the stars, his old ship in. Her sisters waited, silent, patient, without mercy if needed. The galaxy had learned a hard lesson. Humanity was not young anymore. Humanity was awake, and the stars would never feel quite so safe again. Here is part 6 of the story. It continues directly from part 5. Written in the same style, simple and basic English, third-person view, around 1,000 words, approximately 990 words. No extra headings or part numbers inside the text. Years passed after the Empire agreed to talk. The old borders open. Slowly, human ships began to appear in neutral trade stations. At first, the aliens kept far away. They watched from corners. They whispered when humans walked past, but humans did not shout. They did not show weapons. They traded food, tools, music, stories. They bought rare metals and strange plants. They paid fairly. They left quietly. Many aliens started to relax. A few even became friends. A young merchant from a bird-like species named LRA began selling glowing crystals to human captains. One day she asked a human trader named Marcus, "Why did your people stay quiet so long? You could have come out earlier." Marcus smiled a little. "We were waiting to see if you would attack again. When you didn't, we decided peace was better than more fighting." LRA looked at the floor. "Many of us lost family in the old wars. We were told humans were wild, dangerous, like animals with guns." Marcus nodded. "We heard the same about you. Big empire. Cold hearts, ready to crush anyone who disobeyed." They both laughed quietly. It was not a happy laugh. It was the laugh of people who had seen too much death. But not every alien accepted the change. On a dark world near the edge of old Imperial space, a group of officers still served the old ways. They called themselves the True Guardians. They believed the Emperor had become weak. They believed humans were a disease that must be cut out before it spread. Their leader was Admiral Zara Keth. She had been a young officer during the battle of the Third Fleet. She had watched her ship burn from an escape pod. The memory never left her. Every night she saw rail gun slugs tearing metal. Every night she heard the calm human voice saying, "Next time we will not send just one." She gathered old ships, hidden shipyards, loyal crews who hated the new peace. They built in secret new shields, faster engines, weapons copied from human designs, but better, they thought. One day, Zara sent a small fleet into human space, not to fight openly, to test, to hurt. 3 fast raiders attacked a small human mining station on an asteroid belt. They destroyed the station, killed everyone, took the ore, left a message carved into a remaining Rock, humans do not belong among the stars. Word reached Earth fast. The human council met in silence. Old captains sat next to young leaders. They looked at pictures of the broken station, bodies floating in space. Children among them, a woman named Captain Alina Reyes stood up. She had flown as a junior officer on the original Indomitable many years ago. Her hair was gray now. Her eyes were still sharp. We kept peace because we wanted it, she said, but peace is not weakness. If they want war again, we give them what they ask for. No one argued that night. Orders went out, not to every ship, only to the quiet ones, the hidden fleet, ships that had waited in deep space in dark nebula behind gas giants, ships bigger than Indomitable, ships with names like UNS Relentless, UNS Vengeance, UNS Silence. They moved not fast, not loud, slow and careful, like predators in tall grass. Zaraketh waited on her flagship, the blade of eternity. She had 50 clears throat. Ships now, strong, modern, she believed. They could win. Scouts told her a human fleet was coming, only 12 ships. Hey. She laughed. They send so few. Arrogance. Again, she formed her ships into a tight spear ready to smash through. The human ships appeared at the edge of the system. They did not charge. They stopped far away, too far for normal weapons. Then the first shot came, not a slug, not a beam, a small object, tiny, moving very fast. It passed between Zara's ships. No explosion, no sound. But every screen on every ship went black for 3 seconds. When the screens came back, the human ships were closer. Much closer. They had used the brief blackout to burn engines at full power. Now they were inside the formation. Zara screamed orders, fire everything. Too late. The human ships opened their sides, not guns this time, doors. Hundreds of small drones poured out. Each drone carried one thing: short-range EMP pulse. Yet they flew between Imperial ships, close, very close. Then they flashed blue light. Silence on comms. Shields dropped. Engines coughed. Weapons failed. In that moment of confusion, the human rail gun spoke, not one slug at a time, many, a storm of metal. Zara watched her fleet die again, one by one, fast, clean. No chance to answer. Her own ship shook. Alarm screamed. A slug had passed through the engine deck, not close enough to kill the ship instantly, close enough to make it slow, helpless. The human flagship moved in front of her. Its hull was black, no name on the side. This time only a small mark, a simple drawing of an open hand. A voice came over the open channel, calm, tired. Female, Admiral Zara Keth, you killed miners' families, children. You left a message, now we leave one. Zara tried to speak, her voice cracked. Could you? Will destroy us all. No, the voice answered, we destroy only what attacks us. Your ships end here. Your life ends here if you choose to keep fighting, or you can live, go home, tell the others what happens when you break peace. Silence. Zara looked around her bridge. Her crew stared at her. Some cried, some looked angry, most looked empty. She closed her eyes, powered down weapons. She whispered, all ships stand down. The human ships did not fire again. They waited one by one, and the Imperial ships turned off their guns. Engines went cold, lights dimmed. The human voice spoke once more. Go back to your worlds, tell them the truth. Humans do not want empire. We want to be left alone. If you let us live free, we let you live free. If you choose war again, we will finish it. The human fleet turned away. They did not chase. They did not destroy the disabled ships. They simply left. Zara sat in her dark bridge. She thought about the miners, about the children, about the message on the rock. She thought about the hand symbol on the black ship, an open hand, not a fist. She gave one last order: set course for home, transmit to every channel we can reach. The war is over. We lost and we were wrong. Years later, the story of the true guardians faded. Most people did not remember Zara's name. They remembered the open hand. On trade stations, human children played with alien children. They laughed. Together they shared food. They told stories, and sometimes late at night, an old alien would look at the stars and say quietly to a human friend, "Your people could have taken everything. You chose not to. That is why we trust you." Now the human would only nod. 1. Because some lessons are written in fire and some are written in silence. The galaxy turned on, quieter now, safer. Now because one species had learned how to be strong without being cruel, and the others had finally learned to listen. Decades went by after the fall of the true guardians. The galaxy changed slowly, like ice melting under a new sun. Old hatreds faded, new friendships grew. Human children grew up, speaking alien languages as easily as their own. Alien children learned human games, soccer and low gravity, chess, with holographic pieces, stories about wolves and dragons from a blue world they had never seen. Trade increased. Human grain-fed worlds that once starved. Alien medicines healed human diseases that doctors on Earth could not cure. Ships from every species dockside by side in giant stations. No one pointed guns anymore. Customs officers check cargo, not intentions, but peace is never perfect. Far from the busy trade lanes in a forgotten system called Karush 9, something stirred. An old Imperial listening post had been left empty for years. Dust covered the consoles. Power had failed long ago. Then one day, a small automated drone arrived. It carried no flag, no markings. It repaired the solar panels, turned on the lights, started listening. Again, the drone was not Imperial. It was something older, something left behind by a species that had vanished before humans even learned to walk upright. A species called the Watchers. The Watchers had once ruled a small empire of their own. They were not cruel. They were careful. They watched every new race that reached the stars. They judged, and when a race seemed ready to destroy everything, the Watchers acted quietly, completely. No one ever saw them coming. Their machines still waited in dark corners of space. Patient, eternal. The drone on Karis 9 listened to everything: trade chatter, diplomatic messages, songs, laughter. And then it heard something that made its core processors pause. Humans were building a new kind of ship, not a warship like Indomitable, not a carrier. Something different, a ship designed to go where no one had gone before, beyond the edge of the known galaxy, into the true void between galactic arms, a place even the oldest maps marked with warnings: here be nothing. The ship was called UNS Horizon. It carried no weapons bigger than small defense lasers. It carried scientists, explorers, families, seeds, frozen embryos of animals, a libraries full of every story humans had ever told. The goal was simple: find new homes, spread life, make sure humanity and maybe others would never be trapped in one small corner again. The drone sent a signal deep in the black. Something answered on Earth. The Horizon launched. Quietly, no big ceremony, no parades. Just a small crowd of families waving. From the ground, the ship rose on gentle engines, then it jumped, not the old way, not the brutal way of indomitable. A new drive, smooth, silent, built from lessons of peace and war together. It disappeared into the long night. Months later, the first reports came back. Faint, delayed by distance, pictures of new stars, strange planets, oceans of liquid methane, forests of crystal trees, no intelligent life yet, but possibility, endless possibility. Then the report stopped. At first people thought it was distance, signals take time, but years passed. No word, no beacon, nothing. Worry grew. The human council met again. Old faces were gone. New ones sat in their places, but the same question hung in the air. What happened to Horizon? They sent scouts. Small, fast ships. They searched the last known coordinates, found nothing. No wreckage, no trace, just empty space. Then one scout found something worse. Single black sphere floating in the void, no lights, no engines, perfectly smooth. It looked like it had been carved from night itself. The scout sent pictures home, then its signal cut off. Panic did not spread this time, not like before. Humans had learned patience. They gathered information carefully. Alien governments offered help. Old imperial archives were opened. Ancient records from species long dead. One file mentioned the Watchers, a warning written in dead languages. They do not conquer, they erase. The council decided not to attack, not yet. Instead they sent a message, not in anger, in calm words. A single ship went out, not armed, not fast, just honest. It carried one person, Captain Aisha Malik, granddaughter of Alina, raised from the old indomitable days. She had gray in her hair now. She had flown many ships. She had lost friends to the true guardians. She had seen peace grow. She believed in it. Her ship, UNS Bridge, approached the black sphere slowly. No weapons powered, no shields up, just open channels. Aisha spoke. We are humans. We come in peace. Our ship Horizon is missing. If you have taken it, tell us why. If you fear us, tell us why. We do not want war. We want understanding. For hours nothing happened. Then the sphere opened, not with doors, with light, soft white light that formed shapes. Words appeared in the void in perfect human English. You spread too fast. You carry fire in your hearts. One day you will burn everything. Aisha answered without hesitation. We carried fire when we were young. We burned ourselves many times. We learned. We stopped burning what we love. Now we carry light too. We want to share it, not destroy. Silence again. More words formed. You are young. You change. We have seen young races destroy galaxies. We act to protect. Issa smiled sadly. Then watch us longer. Let Horizon go. Let us prove we can be trusted. If we fail, act then, but give us the chance. The sphere pulsed once, twice. Then it vanished. Minutes later, a signal came from far away. Horizon beacon alive, intact. The crew confused but safe. They had been held in a pocket of folded space. No harm done, only held. The sphere reappeared one last time. Words formed again. We will watch, not from close, not from far. We will watch. Do not make us act. Then it was gone forever. Horizon returned home years later. The crew told stories of empty worlds, beautiful dangers, new life forms. They brought Samples, plants, rocks, data. They also brought something else. Hope. The galaxy heard the story not as a victory, not as a defeat, as a warning and as proof. Humans could reach beyond fear, beyond old hatreds, beyond even the Watchers. On quiet nights now, people look at the stars differently, not with fear, not with pride, with careful wonder, because somewhere out there, eyes still watch. Yeah, and humanity keeps moving forward. One careful step at a time, carrying both fire and light, ready for whatever comes next. Centuries passed after the meeting with the Watchers. Time moves fast when peace lasts. The galaxy became a web of connected worlds. Ships traveled between stars the way people once traveled between cities on Earth. No one needed passports, no one needed permission, just a destination and a polite hello at the docking bay. Humans spread farther than anyone expected, not by force, by invitation. Other species asked them to come. Your people build fast, your people fix things, your people tell good stories. So human colonies appeared on cold moons, warm jungles, desert rings around gas giants. They planted trees from Earth. They built schools where alien and human children learned together, and they sang old songs under strange skies. The Watchers never appeared again, but everyone knew they were still out there, watching, waiting, a quiet reminder that freedom comes with responsibility. On one of the newest human worlds, a green planet called New Dawn, a girl named Sari grew up. She was born in the year the horizon returned. Her mother was a biologist. Her father flew cargo runs between systems. Sari loved stories about the old days, about the indomitable, about rail guns and black spheres and open hands. She read every record she could find. She dreamed of stars the way children once dreamed of oceans. When she turned 18, she joined the exploration service, not the military kind, the quiet kind. Ships that mapped empty space, ships that looked for life, ships that carried hope. More than weapons, her first command was small, a survey vessel named Lightep. Crew of 12, mostly young, mostly curious. Their mission was simple: follow a faint signal that had been repeating for decades. The signal came from a dead system far beyond the Galactic arm, a place no one had visited. Since the Watchers' time, they jumped once, twice, 3 times. Each jump took them deeper into silence. Stars grew thin, darkness grew thick. On the 4th day, the signal became clear. It was not a machine, it was a voice, a single word, repeated over and over in an ancient language no one knew. The computer translated fragments. One word came through clearly: help. The crew looked at each other. Sari felt her heart beat faster, not fear, excitement mixed with worry. They followed the signal to a broken world, a planet cracked open like an egg. Half of it was gone, the other half floated in pieces held together by gravity and old force fields. Ruins covered the surface, towers taller than mountains, cities drowned in dust. They landed carefully, suits sealed, lights on. Air smelled old and metallic. Deep inside the largest ruin they found it. Chamber sealed for maybe 1,000,000 years. Inside, machines still hummed. Weak, tired, in the center sat a single being, not alive the way humans are. Alive, not dead either, frozen in time. Skin like cracked stone, eyes closed. Thin thread of light connected its head to the machines. It was one of the Watchers, or what remained of one. Sorry stepped forward, the other stayed. Back she spoke softly, we heard you, we. Came, the eyes opened slowly, silver. Light filled them, you are they. Fire bearers, the young ones, sorry. Nodded humans, ah yes, the watchers. Voice came from everywhere and nowhere. Weak but clear, we watched you longest. You changed fastest, we feared you would. Burn it all, we took your ship once too. Test, you asked for understanding. Instead of revenge, that was new, sorry. Waited, we are dying, the watcher. Continued. Our kind is gone, our machines fail, we kept this place alive. To warn others, but no one came until. You why help, sorry asked, you could. Have stayed hidden, clear's throat. Because we were wrong, the watcher said. We thought destruction was the only answer, you showed mercy is stronger. You spread, you build, you heal, you do. Not conquer, the light in the chamber. Flickered, we have one gift left. Watcher raised a thin arm, a small crystal floated towards Sorry, it glowed. Soft blue, knowledge in which said. Everything we learned, no. Clear's throat, every species we watched, every mistake we made, take it. Use it, do not repeat our silence. Sorry took the crystal, it felt warm. Heavy with memory, what happens to you? Now she asked, the watcher closed its eyes again, we rest, finally. The machine slowed, the hum stopped. Light thread broke, the chamber grew dark. Sorry and her crew stayed until the end. They did not speak much, they just stood together. When they returned to light up, they carried more than a crystal, they carried a lesson no school could teach. Back in human space, the crystal was studied carefully, not to copy weapons, not to build power, to understand, to remember. Years later, Sorry became an old woman. She sat on the porch of her home, a new dawn. Stars filled the sky, children played nearby. Human children, alien children, laughing the same way, and one of the children ran to her, Grandma, sorry. Tell us about the watchers, she smiled. They were very old, very careful, they thought strength meant being alone. We showed them something else. What that? The strongest thing is not fear, it is choosing kindness even when you are afraid. The child looked up at the stars. Are they still watching? Sorry. Looked up too, maybe, but now they watch. With hope, not with judgment. The child ran off to play again. Sorry stayed outside a long time. She thought about the indomitable, about horizon, about black spheres and open hands and broken worlds. She thought about how a single choice to talk instead of fight changed everything. The galaxy turned quietly. No more great wars, no more hidden fleets, just people, human and not living, learning, exploring, and somewhere far away in the deep dark, between the arms, a faint blue light still glowed. Not a warning anymore, a small steady promise that even the oldest watchers can learn, that even the youngest races can grow wise, that the stars are big enough for everyone, if everyone remembers to keep choosing. Light over fire. Sorry closed her eyes. She smiled, and the night felt warmer than it ever had before. 1,000 years after the indomitable first appeared from nowhere, the galaxy no longer remembered empires the way it once did. The old galactic empire had become a quiet federation of worlds. Loose, polite, mostly equal, no single throne, no single emperor, just councils that met every few decades to share maps, trade rules, and warnings about old dangers. Humans were everywhere now. Not the most numerous, not the oldest, but somehow always present when something new happened. Their ships still carried the same blunt names. Relentless silence, Horizon's child. Their people still told the same old stories around campfires on new planets. Stories of rail guns punching through shields, of voices saying, "Next time we will not send just one," of black spheres that learned mercy. Most young people treated those stories like fairy tales. That was before we knew better. They said that was when everyone was afraid, but some still listened. Carefully, on a small research station, orbiting a red dwarf star called Iris Lantern, a team of mixed scientists, human, insectoid, crystalline, feathered, found something strange. Faint gravitational ripple, not natural. Not a ship. Something older than they. Watchers, something that should not exist. They called it the echo. The echo was a bubble in space. Inside it, time moved differently. Seconds outside became years inside. The bubble drifted slowly through the galaxy, touching systems for a few days, then moving on. No one had ever entered one and come back unchanged. The team leader was Dr. Kale Wren, a human woman whose great-grandmother had once served on the original Horizon. Kale was calm, curious. She believed questions were more important than answers. She proposed a simple plan: one volunteer, one small probe. We send both inside. We watch what happens. The council debated for months. Some said it was too dangerous. Others said it was too tempting. In the end, curiosity won. Kale herself volunteered. She prepared a small capsule. No weapons, no heavy armor, just sensors, food for years, medical pods, books, music, and a single message recorder. Before she left, she spoke to the team: "If I come back different, do not fear me, just listen." They launched her toward the echo on a quiet morning. The bubble looked like a tear in the stars, soft purple light around the edges. Inside, nothing visible. The capsule entered. For those outside, 3 days passed. For Kale, 30 years passed. She lived inside the echo. She saw stars being born. She saw civilizations rise and fall and fast forward. She saw species like the Watchers appear, grow proud, grow afraid, grow silent. She saw humans appear, small, noisy, stubborn. She saw the indomitable arrive. She saw rail guns flash. She saw open hands instead of fists. She saw the Watchers learn. She saw herself, not just her body, her choices. Every moment she could have chosen anger, but chose words. Every time fear whispered, "Strike first," and she answered, "Wait and see." The echo showed her everything, not to punish, to teach. When the 30 years ended for her, the bubble released the capsule gently. It floated back to the station. The team opened it with shaking hands. Kyle stepped out. She looked older, gray hair, lines around her eyes, but her smile was the same. She hugged her friends. She cried a little, then she spoke. "I saw it all," she said. "Beginning, the middle, the possible ends, and I understood something we always knew but never felt deeply enough." She paused. "Every species thinks it is special. Every species thinks it is the center. Every species fears the others will destroy everything, but the truth is simpler." She looked at each face in the room. "We are all afraid of the dark, and the dark is very big." She held up a small crystal she had carried back. Not the Watcher crystal, a new one born inside the echo. "This is not knowledge," she said. "This is memory, the memory of every mistake, every kindness, every war avoided, every hand extended. It remembers, so we do not have to repeat." They studied the crystal for years. It did not give power, it gave perspective. It showed simulations not of weapons, but of futures, futures where fear won, futures where trust won, futures where everyone simply talked until no one remembered why they were angry. Slowly, the crystal's lessons spread, not as law, not as religion, as stories. Children learned them in schools, adults remembered them in quiet moments. Leaders consulted them before big decisions, and the galaxy changed again. Not with explosions, with pauses. Ships stopped at borders, not because of guns, but because someone asked, do we really need to cross today? Trade stopped not because of greed, but because someone said maybe they need it more. Exploration continued always, but now every new world got the same question. First, is anyone already here? Do they mind if we stay? One day far in the future, another young explorer found a new signal, not help, not warning, a welcome. It came from a system no map had marked. The message was short: we have waited long enough, come meet your neighbors. No empire sent the message. No watcher, no human, something new. Something that had watched all of them. Watchers, humans, everyone, and decided the time for hiding was over. The explorer smiled. She sent the message home, then she turned her ship toward the signal. Behind her, the stars waited, quiet, patient, full of light that had once been fire, and somewhere in the memory of a crystal carried across centuries, a very old story repeated softly. A human warship emerged out of nowhere. The galaxy underestimated humanity, and humanity answered not with destruction, but with everything that came after, with questions, with mercy, with time, with open hands that never closed into fists. Again, the end of fear, the beginning of something larger, and the stars finally felt like home. Many thousands of years after the first human warship appeared, from nowhere, time itself began to feel different. The galaxy had grown old in the gentle way forests grow old, thick with memory, slow with wisdom, still full of green shoots pushing through. Stars died, new ones were born, species rose to the stars, and I lived long, golden ages, then quietly stepped back into legend or silence. But the children of Earth never quite stopped moving. They did not rule, they did not conquer. They simply stayed curious. One small ship drifted at the very edge of what anyone still called the galaxy. Its name was Last Echo, not grand like indomitable, not hopeful like Horizon. Just honest. Last Echo carried only 3 crew members: an old human woman named Mirasol, a crystalline being named Vex, who sang instead of speaking, and a young feathered scout named Tra, who had never seen Earth but loved its stories anyway. They had come because of a whisper, not a signal, not a message carved in rock, a whisper that reached them in dreams, the same dream for all 3. Night after night, a voice older than stars sang one sentence: come see what remains. They followed it for years, through nebulae thick as fog, past black holes that sang low songs into regions where light itself grew tired. Finally, they arrived. There was nothing, no planet, no station, no ruin, just a single point of soft white light hanging in perfect darkness. It did not pulse. It did not move. It simply existed. Mira looked at it for a long time. This is it, she said quietly. Vex sang a short sad note, Tira's feathers flattened against her skin. They sent no probe, they did not scan. They simply opened the airlock and stepped out in suits that could hold them forever if Needed, they floated toward the light. As they came closer, the light did not grow brighter, it grew deeper, layers unfolded inside it, memories not pictures, not words, feelings made visible. They saw everything at once. The first humans looking up at the moon and dreaming. The moment the indomitable materialized and changed fear into awe. The black sphere of the Watchers opening like a flower instead of closing like a fist. Kyle Ren stepping out of the echo with gray hair and calm eyes, sorry. Sitting on a porch telling children about open hands. They saw wars that never happened because someone chose to wait one more day. They saw strangers meeting for the first time and sharing food instead of weapons. They saw children, human, crystalline, feathered, scaled, winged, playing together under every kind of sky. And then they saw the end of fear, not the end of danger. Danger would always exist, but the end of the kind of fear that makes hands close into fists. The light spoke without sound, yet you kept choosing him, it said, even when it was hard, even when no one watched, even when the easy choice was anger. Mira felt tears inside her helmet, not sad tears, full tears like a cup that had been empty too long, finally overflowing. Why us? She asked. Why show this to us now? The light answered, because you never stopped asking why, not how to win, not how to survive, why to be kind when survival said be cruel, why to explore when safety said stay home, why to listen when power said shout. Vex sang again, a long rising note of wonder. Tira whispered, what happens next? The light grew very gentle. Next is yours. All of yours. The story does not end here, it only changes shape. Some will sleep, some will dream new dreams, some will carry the fire forward, but the choice stays the same. It showed them one last thing, a vision of countless worlds, not empty, not conquered, alive. Different, strange, beautiful, each one touched by hands that had once held rail guns and then learned to hold nothing at all. And in the center of that vision, small and stubborn and bright, the blue dot called Earth, still there, still spinning, still sending ships outward, still telling stories. The light began to fade, not gone forever, just resting. It left them one small gift, a seed, not a plant seed, not a machine, a feeling seed, something that could be planted in hearts. It carried no instructions, only the memory of every time someone chose light instead of fire. They took it back to last echo. They did not speak much on the journey home. When they returned, they did not make announcements. They did not write books. They simply lived with the seed inside them. Mira told her grandchildren bedtime stories that ended with quiet questions instead of loud answers. Vex sang new songs that made listeners remember kindness they had forgotten. Tira flew to new worlds and asked strangers, may I stay and learn from you, instead of may I stay and teach you? And slowly, without anyone planting it, the seed spread. Not as a rule, not as a law, as a habit. People began pausing before they spoke. In anger, they began listening 1 second longer. They began smiling at creatures so different they once would have run. The galaxy did not become perfect. Pain still existed, mistakes still happened, loss still came, but fear no longer on the steering wheel. One quiet night, far in the future, a child on a world that had never heard of Earth looked up at the sky and asked her, Mother, why are the stars so bright? Her mother thought for a moment. Because long ago, she said, someone very small and very stubborn decided not to be afraid anymore, And they taught everyone else how to do the same. The child smiled. I want to be like them. Her mother hugged her close. You already are. And somewhere in the deep quiet between galaxies, a very old light flickered once, not in warning, not in judgment, just in recognition. A single human warship had emerged out of nowhere. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, and humanity, step by slow step, choice by small choice, had answered with the only thing stronger than fear, with stubborn, quiet, endless hope. The stars listened, and for the first time in forever, they did not feel so far apart. They felt like family. And